Hello and thanks for tuning in. Today we'll get into another one of my preferred topics for reading, which will be sports, more specifically the NFL. And for the NFL, we're going to start with the AFC North. The American Football Conference Northern Division, or AFC North, is one of the four divisions of the American Football Conference, or AFC, the National Football League. The division was created after the NFL realigned its divisions upon expanding to 32 teams with the 2002 NFL season marking the league's first season following this restructuring. The division consists of the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers. Prior to this realignment, these teams were members of AFC Central Division, along with the Tennessee Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the only division in the NFL which no members team has hosted the Super Bowl in their stadiums. The division, however, has won 8 Super Bowl titles, 6 for Pittsburgh, 2 for Baltimore in total. Formation. The AFC North currently has 4 members: Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The original 4 members of AFC Central were the Browns, Bengals, Steelers, and Houston Oilers, now named the Tennessee Titans. AFC North is the only AFC division that does not contain a charter team from the original American Football League. However, the Cincinnati Bengals were an AFL expansion team in the 1968 AFL season. The Steelers and Browns joined the AFC in 1970. Although the Bengals joining the AFL was contingent on the team joining the NFL after the AFL NFL merger was finalized in 1970, as Paul Brown was not a supporter of the AFL. The AFC North contains all 3 of the pre merger NFL cities: Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, whose then franchise joined the AFC in 1970. 3 of the teams also have interlocked histories. Both the Bengals and the Browns were founded by Paul Brown, while the Ravens and the city of Cleveland have their own unique relationship. Only the Steelers, the oldest franchise in the division, have no direct history involving Paul Brown. History. 1970s. The AFC Central Division was formed when the Browns and Steelers brought their rivalry from the NFL Century Division to the AFC in 1970, joining the newly formed AFC Central with the Houston Oilers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Although Bengals won first AFC Central Division championship in 1970, the Steelers dominated the division for most of the 1970s. The Steelers also would win 4 Super Bowls in the decade, which were also the team's first league titles. In the 1980s, the 1980 Cleveland Browns broke the Steelers' 6-year run as division champions, but failed to advance past the divisional round of the playoffs, losing to the Oakland Raiders as a result of Red Right 88. The Bengals were the only team to represent the AFC Central in the Super Bowl during the decade, appearing in the 1981 season and in the 1988 season. Both appearances resulted in close losses to the San Francisco 49ers. The Steelers returned as the dominant team in the division in 1992. They won 5 divisional titles in 6 years, played in the Super Bowl, which they lost to the Dallas Cowboys. In 1992, the Oilers were involved in one of the most famous playoff games in NFL history. In a game now known as the comeback, the Oilers surrendered a 32-point lead to the Buffalo Bills and lost in overtime, 41-38. It was the largest deficit ever overcome in NFL history of the NFL for nearly 30 years. In 1995, the Jacksonville Jaguars joined the league through expansion and were placed in the AFC Central. It was the first change to the structure of the division since the inception and added a secondary team to the division from the U.S. South. In 1996, in one of the most controversial decisions in American sports history, the Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore and were rechristened as the Baltimore Ravens, bringing along none of the Browns' history when they came to Baltimore. Then in 1997, the Oilers moved to Tennessee but remained in the division. The team later was renamed to the Titans in 1999. The makeup of the AFC Central changed once again in 1999 when the NFL reactivated the Cleveland Browns. The division had 6 teams for the 1999 to 2001 seasons and was the only division to have that many teams in the post-merger era. Aside from Pittsburgh appearance in the Super Bowl, the only other appearance in the Super Bowl for the division in the decade was the Titans, who came up 1 yard short for the first Super Bowl to go into overtime. Along the way, the team got revenge on the Bills 7 years after their comeback in the wild card round by defeating the Bills 22-16 as a result of the Music City Miracle. 2000s. The decade began with the Baltimore Ravens winning the division in Super Bowl 35. The team's defense, led by linebacker Ray Lewis, was arguably one of the best defenses of all time. Pittsburgh Steelers won the AFC Central in 2001. In 2002, the NFL realigned into 8 divisions of 4 teams. The Jaguars and the Titans, the latter winning AFC Central title in 2000, were both moved to the new AFC South, while the rest of the AFC Central remained intact and was renamed the AFC North. The Bengals, Browns, and Steelers were guaranteed to remain in the division together in any circumstance. This was part of the NFL's settlement with the city of Cleveland in the wake of the 1995 Cleveland Browns relocation controversy. The division, geographically speaking, thus became the shortest driving distance between each team among the NFL's 8 divisions. As 3 of the teams are located within close proximity of Interstate 70, and the distance between Baltimore and Cincinnati, the 2 teams furthest away from each other, being only 526 miles apart. The Browns and Steelers, the 2 closest rivals, even ride a bus to their games instead of flying. Since realignment, the Steelers have won the division title 7 times, and the Ravens and Bengals have each won 4 times. The Steelers have swept all divisional opponents twice in 2002, 2008, going 7 for 7 both times. Winning against the Browns in a 2002 AFC wildcard game and the Ravens in the 2008 AFC Championship. And the Ravens and Bengals have swept all 3 divisional opponents once each. The Bengals in 2009 and the Ravens in 2011. Since divisional realignment, the Steelers have made the playoffs 10 times, the Ravens 8 times, the Bengals 7 times, and the Browns 2 times. In 2005, although finishing second in the division to the Bengals, the Steelers became the first team in NFL history to enter the playoffs as a 6-seeded wildcard team and win the Super Bowl. In 2008, the Steelers became the first team to repeat as division champion since the division's realignment in 2002. The team went on to win Super Bowl 43 that season, their second Super Bowl in 4 years, and an NFL record 6 overall. In 2009, the Cincinnati Bengals swept their annual 6 game slate of divisional opponents. Their first 3 games against the AFC North came in weeks 3 through 5 when they beat the Steelers, Browns, and Ravens, respectively, each by 3 points. The close finishes deemed the Bengals crateacs. Cincinnati clinched their first division title since 2005 in a Week 16 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, 17-10. In the playoffs, however, the Bengals fell to the New York Jets at home 24-14. Baltimore finished off their season by winning 3 of their final 4 games to finish 9-7 and earn the number 6 seed in the AFC playoffs. In the first round of the postseason, Baltimore defeated the New England Patriots in Foxborough 33-14. In the divisional round of the postseason, Baltimore's season came to an end with a 20-3 loss to the Indianapolis Colts, who would defeat the Jets 1 week later to win the conference. 2010s. The Ravens repeated as division champions in 2011 and 2012. The team went on to win Super Bowl 47 over the San Francisco 49ers on February 3rd, 2013 in New Orleans. It was the second franchise Super Bowl win as of 2012. The Steelers are the AFC's North most successful team with 599 wins, 547 losses, and 21 ties, record all time with the Browns, second in line with an overall record of 510 wins, 441 losses, while the Ravens sit third, even though they were not an official franchise until 1996 at 164 wins, 128 losses, and then the Bengals today remain the only team in the division with their all-time record below 500, as they sit in last at 310 wins and 396 losses. In 2015, the Bengals became the first team in the AFC North to ever start the year 8-0, finishing the season 12-4, winning the division for the second time in 3 years. Cincinnati clinched the division title in Week 16 when the Steelers were upset by the 4-10 Ravens in Baltimore, quarterbacked by Ryan Mallett. Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton was having his best season of his 5-year career until breaking his thumb on December 13th against Pittsburgh caused him to miss the rest of the season. In the playoffs, Cincinnati quarterback A.J. McCarron lost in a rematch with the Steelers 18-16. In the final minutes of the heated battle, Pittsburgh advanced to the divisional round of the playoffs, only to lose to Peyton Manning and the eventual Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. 2020s. The Steelers won the division in 2020. The Ravens and Browns also made it into the playoffs as the 5th and 6th seeded wild cards, respectively. For the Browns, it was their first playoff appearance since 2002. The Browns defeated the Steelers 48-37 in Pittsburgh for the wild card round, marking their first playoff win since 1994. The Ravens beat the Titans 20-13 in their wild card matchup. However, both the Ravens and Browns failed to win their divisional round matchups, losing 17-3 to the Bills and 22-17 to the Chiefs, respectively. Bengals won the division in 2021. The Steelers were given a shocking last-minute invite to the NFL playoffs, but their journey fell short with a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card round. The Bengals beat the Raiders at home 26-19 in the wild card matchup, marking their first playoff win since 1990. They then beat the Titans 19-16 in Tennessee and the Chiefs 27-24 in Kansas City to make it to the Super Bowl. Their season ended with a 23-20 loss in the Super Bowl to the Rams. Cincinnati Bengals won the division for the second consecutive time in 2022. The 11-4 Bengals faced up against the 12-3 Buffalo Bills on January 2nd, 2023. However, Bills safety Damar Hamlin collapsed after a tackle on T. Higgins. The game was suspended after the play. Days later, the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell canceled the game. By win percentage, the Bengals won the North again. After the victory against the Atlanta Falcons, the Baltimore Ravens clinched their playoff spot as well. On January 15th, 2023, in the Super Wild Card weekend, the number 3 ranked Bengals played at home against the Ravens, number 6. The Bengals defeated Ravens by the score of 24-17, with the most notable play by Tyler Huntley failing a quarterback sneak at the Bengals' 2-yard line. Huntley did not secure the football as Logan Wilson stripped and Huntley fumbled the ball, and Sam Hubbard recovering the ball, running a 98-yard scoop and score to defeat the Ravens. This was the longest fumble return touchdown in NFL playoff history. On January 22nd, the Bengals and the Bills rematched at Bills' home stadium, Highmark Stadium. Despite the home field advantage and heavy snow conditions, the Bengals were able to upset the Bills with a score of 27-10 after Bills quarterback Josh Allen was intercepted on the team's final offensive play by Cam Taylor-Britt. The Bengals then advanced to the face against the Kansas City Chiefs for their AFC Championship for the second consecutive time. The Bengals would lose this time after a costly penalty allowed the Chiefs to hit a game-winning field goal. This was the first ever back-to-back championship appearance in Bengals history. The Baltimore Ravens won the division in 2023, as well as the number 1 seed in the AFC. All 4 teams in the AFC North finished the 2023 regular season with winning records. 2023 marked the first time since 1935 that each team within an entire division finished the regular season with a winning record. The Steelers became the first team in AFC and AFC North history to post 20 consecutive non-losing records. Baltimore won the division in 2024, with the Steelers also clinching a wild card spot in the 24-25 NFL playoffs. Unfortunately, both teams would fall short of their playoff aspirations and shortly be kicked out. Thanks for listening. That's all we have for this time.